Well, hello everybody. Thank you for coming back for another episode of Robot Wars Reborn Cup. What heat are we on today? A, B, C. Sorry, I forgot my alphabet. G! G! How can I forget? Of course, it's Heat G today, and, you know, I'm really feeling up for this one. Last time, if you missed it, we finally had a seeded machine win their heat, albeit being, you know, M2, rather, one of the boring ones. You know, it wasn't like Carbide, Storm 2, Gas 2, or all the other great souls that we've lost so far in this competition. But hopefully tonight's seeded machine can maybe help us turn the corner. Can he be the next seeded machine to prove that they all still have something to show us? Well, hopefully so, but you never know. Why don't we go ahead and introduce Rich for the night and see if he's excited and if he's thinking the same thing. Are we gonna get another seed to win, or is one of the other 7 challengers up to the task?
Thanks very much, Nick. It is chilly over here. I mean, I know we just started December, but I didn't think it'd get this cold this fast. I wasn't prepared for this kind of... what's the opposite of a heat wave? Whatever. I just want a nice warm fireplace right now to heat myself up. But I know things are going to be heating up in the arena tonight with these 8 competitors. Let's take a look at who we got, shall we? Alrighty, here are the 8 machines entering tonight's heat, which includes the 9th seed, Panic Attack. He'll be going up against the Horizontal Undercutter, PP3D. ExTerminator is back, looking to wipe out the last known remaining dinosaur, Stegosaurus. Raging Nightmare is ready to rage against the machine, known as Killertron. But up first is a spinner-on-spinner showdown with S3 and Typhoon 2 to start round 1. Let's activate.
From Donisthorpe, Swabbling, Leicestershire, S3.
S3 has been given a major overhaul since last season, where he finished 1-1 with a win over Tauron before losing to Apollo. Going for his 3rd attempt here in the Robot Wars Reborn Cup, here's hoping that S3 will avoid a Strike 3.
From Edinburgh in Scotland, Typhoon 2.
Typhoon 2 was seeded number 6 last season, but because he fell in the first round to Atomic, he is now entering the War Zone unseeded. Let's see if he can get himself back on his feet and back in the seedings for next season.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
And to quote Bill Dwyer, this is going to be classic. Vertical spinner versus the horizontal spinning blade. Yeah, I know, wrong show, but I had to make that reference. Okay, guys, just play along with me. And right away, Typhoon 2 is taking pieces off of S3. He just took off the bottom wedge, and because of that, S3's disc is going to be dragging along the arena floor, and that's not a good thing. The drop zone just went off for some reason. Didn't we fire the guy operating the drop zone a couple heats ago? Come on, guys. Typhoon 2 taking more pieces off of S3. He just took off one of his hubcaps and turned him over on his back. And now S3's disc is no longer dragging on the ground because of that upper wedge. But can he hold on to that upper wedge long enough to do some damage with his disc? Typhoon 2 looking to take off that upper wedge of S3, and he just did. And he lost a tooth as well. There are parts flying all over the place, and we're not even a minute into the match. More pieces coming off of S3, who is now upended and driving over the flame pit. And off comes S3's disc. He drove right into the wall, and the disc just fell off. S3 is now smoking and taking some serious damage from the likes of Typhoon 2, and S3 is done for. Typhoon 2 is victorious. Well, S3 just basically became S3000 pieces. There's not much left of him, and Typhoon 2 is advancing to round 2. Next up for round 1, it's Raging Nightmare versus Killertron.
From Cornwall in Leicestershire, Raging Nightmare.
A brand new machine entering the war zone for the first time, Raging Nightmare has a flipper that doubles as a Shrinek, and he can also run inverted. That's a plus. My biggest issue with the flipper is that the tip of it is so small. Is he going to struggle getting under and flipping other robots? We'll see.
From Maidstone in Kent, Killertron.
Back for a second attempt after losing to Mutant round 1 last season, Killertron returns with a double-headed axe, allowing him to strike from the front and behind. But I'm not holding my breath for him to score a win here. He didn't do so well last season. I don't expect him to do so well here either.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Let's begin.
So, will the flipper outflip the axe, or will the axe out-axe the flipper? Well, Killertron has already gone belly up after a single flip right here from Raging Nightmare, getting under the high ground clearance of Killertron, turning him topsy-turvy, upsy-daisy, upside down, and it doesn't look like Killertron had the strength behind his axe to recover from that flip to be able to roll back onto his wheels. He is getting counted out already, and Raging Nightmare will be going through to round 2 with a quick and easy victory. And just like that, Killertron is gone. He went out quicker than when he fought Mute last season. So Raging Nightmare won't be raging this time because he's through to the next round. And next up, it's ExTerminator against Stegosaurus.
From Belmont in Herefordshire, ExTerminator.
ExTerminator returns after losing to Stinger in round 1 last season. He had lost 6 straight fights and hadn't won a single fight yet since he was built. And whatever time this is, hopefully this time the charm. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face.
From Southampton, Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus also went out in round 1 last season at the hands of Storm 2 in one of the quickest matches in the history of this channel. Can Stegosaurus last longer than a few seconds this time around? Well, given he's fighting the robot with an axe, I say he has a shot.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So, we got the axe, and we got the pusher. How long can Stegosaurus last in this match? Well, so far, he has already surpassed his last match against Storm 2 last season. Stegosaurus hit the pit release button as ExTerminator gets a little hit there right above the left eye of Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus turning and chasing the tail towards ExTerminator and gets a knife lift in there on ExTerminator, getting under the plow. ExTerminator taking off a piece of Stegosaurus right here, taking off that little red bit right there off of the top of the lifter after taking a few little lifts from Stegosaurus, who now pushes ExTerminator into the wall with not a lot of force, but he is scoring some points here. Stegosaurus doing a good job here, sending off ExTerminator. Well, now that I said that, ExTerminator gets another hit there with the axe on Stegosaurus, and again right on the lifter, and again on the lifter once more. Stegosaurus bringing the lifter into play, and that's it for the lifter. It is now gone, completely removed by the axe of ExTerminator. Stegosaurus, now weaponless, must now rely on brute force and avoid the axe of ExTerminator at all costs, which is proving difficult for him to do so far, as he has taken more hits from the axe of ExTerminator. And again, right above the eye, ExTerminator taking off more pieces of Stegosaurus, more of those red spine bits on top of the dinosaur-themed machine. Did the drop zone just go off? Damn it, guys, can't you freaking work the drop zone properly for once, for crying out loud? ExTerminator got Stegosaurus now in the CPZ and just firing away with the axe, landing hit after hit after hit after hit. Stegosaurus is now smoking as he is struggling to survive against the likes of ExTerminator, who has landed multiple hits with the axe here as he got Stegosaurus pinned in the corner of the arena. And he is now pushing back against Stegosaurus, pushing him into the bowling balls, pushing him towards the flipper. No, pushed him right past the arena flipper. Stegosaurus trying to spin out of it, trying to avoid any more trouble, and ExTerminator is right on his side, swinging away with the axe and landing some more hits looking to go in for the kill, and he gets the kill on Stegosaurus. Once again, Stegosaurus falls in the first round of the heat, and ExTerminator scores his first ever victory. Man, Stegosaurus is having no such luck getting out of the first round. ExTerminator was so intent on keeping the dinosaur deceased, and I think we all know the reason why. Jurassic Park. Anyway, last up for round 1 is the 9th seed Panic Attack against PP3D.
From Cardiff, the number 9 seed, Panic Attack.
Panic Attack got one of the wild cards last season after falling to the eventual champ can opener in the Heat final, only to lose to Eruption in the semifinals and then to Chaos 2, thus giving him the number 9 seed. Let's see if Panic Attack can cause some panic when he attacks the competition.
From Aberdeenshire, PP3D.
PP3D didn't do so well last season. He got knocked out in the first round by Terahertz after losing his spinning disc. Let's see if he can hold on to his disc long enough to shred up Panic Attack as well as anyone else that happens to stand in his way.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So, it's the battle of the letter P between Panic Attack and PP3D to wrap up the first round of this heat. As PP3D has already landed some hits with that spinner, and Panic Attack gets under him and didn't do a whole lot with those lifting spikes, but he is using the spike to try to hit the pit release button. So far, the pit remains closed. Okay, there we go. Now it's open. Do we have to fire the guy operating the pit too? What is going on here? Our crew is so incompetent. Anyway, PP3D is back in Panic Attack into the CPZ as he lands more hits on his opponent with that spinning disc. And both robots lost a piece of their weaponry. Panic Attack losing a spike. PP3D losing a tooth of his spinning disc. There it goes right there. Once the disc came in contact with the lifting forks of Panic Attack. Both robots have taken some damage already as PP3D is tilted forward and upside down. Panic Attack losing another spike. PP3D losing another tooth. Both robots doing more damage to each other. PP3D now absolutely off balance. His weapon is wobbling like crazy as he continues to get tilted upward and around by Panic Attack, but landing more hits on the side. And Panic Attack is now smoking. This is bad news for the number 9 seed. PP3D doing more damage to the seated machine. Are we going to see another seated machine fall in the first round? Panic Attack breaks off the disc of PP3D as he gets a hit there. A major hit that could have knocked out Panic Attack, but Panic Attack survives and takes off PP3D's armament in the process, and now PP3D is smoking. All he got left is that saw blade that's supposed to be the base of his spinning disc. Panic Attack doing everything he can to stay alive and try to knock off the remains of PP3D's weaponry. PP3D is trying to get the knockout hit, trying to put Panic Attack towards the pit, but he keeps tumbling over upside down and right side up, and Panic Attack is doing everything he can to stay in the competition and not take an early exit, and there goes the rest of PP3D's disc, taken off by the forks of Panic Attack, who now had PP3D caught between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Panic Attack getting under with the lifting spikes, hold PP3D for a moment in the CPZ and backs off. And now PP3D is taking more damage. He had taken a critical hit right there. And there goes the wheel! PP3D just lost the wheel. He is in major trouble now. Surely PP3D was on top until this moment right here. Or rather, until he lost the disc, but now this is Panic Attack's game, as he had not only taken out PP3D's weapon, but he's taken out both of the wheels, and PP3D is no longer able to move. He is going to be counted out, and Panic Attack with a smoky victory dance goes in for one final attack to show PP3D who is boss. PP3D can't do anything but sit there helplessly, and Panic Attack took a hit himself. How did that happen? Was he damaged by the motor protection on PP3D? I don't know, but Panic Attack nearly knocked himself out right there as PP3D is finally getting counted out. Panic Attack moving slowly, billowing smoke, but he is gonna survive and advance to the next round of the tournament. What a fight. Wow, I thought for certain we we were going to see another seeded machine fall in round 1, but Panic Attack proved me wrong. He had taken out PP3D, and he is moving on with ExTerminator, Raging Nightmare, and Typhoon 2 to round 2. And here's how things look in round 2. We got ExTerminator set to take on the 9th seed Panic Attack, but before they do so, we're going to see Typhoon 2 battle Raging Nightmare.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
What can we expect here in round 2? Well, pretty much anything, I guess. Typhoon 2 with a glancing blow off the side of Raging Nightmare, who gets under and flips Typhoon 2 just as he loses a piece of the flipper. Raging Nightmare with a perfectly timed pop right there, overturning the full body spinner as Typhoon 2 is now breakdancing on his flag. He became a bit of a Beyblade right there, and he is doing everything he can to try to get back on his wheel. Typhoon 2 losing a piece of his flag as he's slowly rolling across the arena floor. He's now being counted out. Typhoon 2 needs to come up with something quick to get back on his wheels, and he does so with 5 seconds left in the count. Raging Nightmare with another flip. Typhoon 2 tumbling on his side. Can he roll back on his wheels? Yes, he can. Typhoon 2 recovering from this flip right here in flamboyant style. And as I stated in a previous heat, style does not matter. It is not part of the judging system. As Raging Nightmare flips Typhoon 2 over for a 3rd time. Can Typhoon 2 right himself like he did before? Yes, he can. Well done, Typhoon 2. He's now up and away, back up to speed. Raging Nightmare getting under again, but missed with a flipper this time as Typhoon 2 just took off another piece of the flipper and another one right there. Raging Nightmare now just got that one little wedge piece that's capable of getting under Typhoon 2, and there it goes. It has been lobbed off by the spinning blades of Typhoon 2, and Raging Nightmare is now nothing more than just a 2-wheeled box as he is pushing Typhoon 2, trying to stop those blades from spinning as Typhoon 2 lands more hits on Raging Nightmare, looking to get the knockout blow very shortly, and there's the knockout blow right there. Typhoon 2 is the winner. And it's now time to say nighty-night to Raging Nightmare, who is certainly raging all the way back home. And Typhoon 2 is moving on to the Heat Final, where he shall await the winner of ExTerminator versus Panic Attack.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Now, these two bots fought twice in real life, once during Series 3 and again in an Extreme 1 Vengeance match. ExTerminator with a hit right there already with the axe, right between the eyes of Panic Attack, who is losing the wedge battle with ExTerminator's plow. ExTerminator with a couple more hits, and he breaks off a piece of Panic Attack's Stream Mech, which just got chucked out of the arena by the floor flipper. ExTerminator going for the pit release button, and he had to press it twice for the siren to go off. Whoever's operating the pit, get the timing right, for crying out loud. Panic Attack now pushing ExTerminator into a CPZ, and he's finally able to get under ExTerminator with the lifting spikes and is able to turn him over. Uh-oh. That's a very bad position for ExTerminator to be. ExTerminator toppled over on his side, and he fired his axe at the most inopportune moment. He is now upside down, axe fully extended, his little Stream X popping out from the sides, won't be able to reach out to the floor, won't be able to get him back on his wheels. Panic Attack with a nudge or two on ExTerminator as he is being counted out, and Panic Attack is being guaranteed a spot in the Heat Final. And with that, ExTerminator had been exterminated by the likes of Panic Attack. The number 9 seed will join Typhoon 2 in tonight's Heat Final. And you all know what it's time for. It's predictions time! Starting with you, Nick.
Thanks, Rich. Well, I don't know about you, but it's really starting to heat up in here. I actually might have to... Nah, you know what? I'm going to spare you guys my weird nipple hairs. Anyway, it's almost time for the Heat Final between Typhoon 2 and Panic Attack. It's a pretty star-studded Heat Final here. Typhoon 2, of course, was a seeded machine back in Season 1, and then didn't have a very good Season 2. And then meanwhile, there's Panic Attack, who has a lot of history and pedigree to his name. For people that don't know, he was the very first bot in a Reborn episode that went unbeaten in his recording session. And he set the stage for a while and set the precedent, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, but now he's looking okay with the 9th seed. He's had to work hard to get to this point, but that's what Panic Attack knows. Gritty, grinding out results, and he's done it again to get to the Heat Final here, and there's no reason that he couldn't grind out another result here. It's just going to be very tough against a determined Typhoon 2 machine. I feel like these bots match up pretty well. Rich, what do you think? Who do you think is going to take the Heat Final here?
Thanks, Nick. Man, it's still so damn cold over here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to think straight. So, who's in the Heat Final? Oh yeah, Typhoon 2 and Panic Attack. Typhoon 2, he had a couple of easy wins over S3 and Raging Nightmare. As for Panic Attack, he was like this close to being knocked out by PP3D. And against ExTerminator, well, he pretty much manhandled ExTerminator. So, I'm not sure who to pick for this one. Because, on the one hand, I really want Panic Attack to win this heat. Because, as of this moment, we have had only one seeded machine win a heat so far, and that's M2 in the last heat. And for that reason alone, I really want Panic Attack to win so badly. But on the other hand, Typhoon 2 is just as deadly, if not deadlier, than PP3D. And given how close PP3D was to knocking out Panic Attack, I don't think Panic Attack is going to survive this fight against Typhoon 2. Because Panic Attack fought an undercutter spinner and just barely won. Typhoon 2 is a full-body spinner. He may be able to dish out more damage than his brother. And so, because of that, I'm pretty sure Typhoon 2 is going to win this heat. So, let's fire up the Heat Final while someone please fire up some hot chocolate for me.
Typhoon 2. Panic Attack.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So, after taking out Typhoon 2's brother in the first round, will Panic Attack have a trick up his sleeve to taking out Typhoon 2 himself? Well, he's already under Typhoon 2 with those forks while taking some damage from those spinning blades. Panic Attack with a nice little lift right there. Couldn't quite get Typhoon 2 over, but he came up short. Typhoon 2 trying to break off those spikes off Panic Attack, but he ends up breaking off one of his own spikes from his spinner. Typhoon 2 now a little bit unbalanced as he continues attacking Panic Attack spikes. Panic Attack doing everything he can to get under Typhoon 2 or perhaps try to break off some more of those spinning blades. That could leave Typhoon 2 helpless. Typhoon 2 losing another tooth, and there goes the spike off of Panic Attack's lifter. Here at the moment, Typhoon 2 lost his spinning blade before taking off a part of Panic Attack's armament. And there goes another piece. Oh no, that was the same piece. Never mind. Typhoon 2 with those 2 axe blades left on his spinner. Panic Attack with like 3/4 of his lifter left. There goes another piece off of someone. I don't know where that came from. I'm not sure if that came off Panic Attack or Typhoon 2. But speaking of Typhoon 2, he just lost his remaining blades, and he just got tipped over onto his side by Panic Attack. Look at this. Typhoon 2 taking a 1-2 right there from Panic Attack before the killing blow by that body slam from Panic Attack. Typhoon 2 is now weaponless, completely vulnerable. No way to get himself back on his wheels. He may be out of it. He is getting counted out. And it's Panic Attack who will be going through to the series semifinals. We got another seeded machine in the semifinals, folks. Hallelujah. And down comes the washing machine on Panic Attack. There we go, folks. Panic Attack, our second seeded machine this season to win a heat and advance to the series semifinals, while Typhoon 2 has been reduced to a gentle breeze, and he now goes the way the wind blows. How about that, Nick? Our second seeded machine in the series semifinals.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Once again, we have a seeded machine winning the heat. That's 2 in a row now. Have we finally turned the corner? Ugh. I don't know if we want to turn that corner just yet. Anyway, commiserations to Typhoon 2. You gave it a great effort. How do you look in the wild card mix? I'm not quite sure. That's up to all of our fans to decide and determine right now who you think is leading the race right now. I think Typhoon 2 might be in the mix, but it's getting a little clustered, a little crowded right now. It's going to be really hard to differ between who did better than who. But luckily, Panic Attack's not in that mix. He's a seated machine that figured it out. He's going through, and if we have turned a corner, we'll definitely find out next week, because the seated machine, there's a lot of expectation for this machine. It's the champ, so make sure you're there next week to see how he does. Bye!